Almost every week, someone walks into one of our New Jersey showrooms with the best dishwasher article pulled up on their phone, a model number highlighted, and their mind already made up. And a lot of the time, they leave with a completely different dishwasher. Not because the article was wrong, but because dishwasher shopping is one of those categories where the spec sheet only tells part of the story. Hi, I'm John with Designer Appliances. We've been selling and installing appliances across New Jersey and New York since 2008. So we see these machines in real homes with real families, real installers, real service calls, and real expectations. Here's the truth about buying a dishwasher in 2026. Most dishwashers clean pretty well.
Detergent's gotten better, sensors have gotten smarter, even a basic machine usually gets food off a plate. But that's not why people love or hate their dishwasher. What they notice every day is whether the racks fit their dishes, whether plastics come out dry, whether it's quiet enough for an open kitchen, whether the door feels solid, and whether their glasses stay clear instead of getting cloudy from hard water. So this is not just another spec sheet ranking.
This is our real top 7 dishwashers of 2026. The models we would actually recommend after selling them, installing them, comparing them side by side, and hearing what customers have to say after they've lived with them. If you want the cheapest machine that cleans dishes, this list may be more than you need. But if you want a dishwasher that makes your kitchen easier every day, one that feels solid, runs quietly, dries well, protects your glassware, and hopefully disappears into your life for the next 10 or 15 years, these are the 7 models that I would start with. And one of them doesn't show up on a single major review site. Let's start with our best overall dishwasher. Our pick is the Bosch SHP78CM5N from the 800 series, the stainless steel pocket handle model.
This is the dishwasher we end up recommending more than any other in the showroom. For the price, it does almost everything well. It runs at 42 decibels, which is full conversation in the kitchen quiet. It has a fully stainless tub, Bosch's My Way third rack, which is deep enough for cereal bowls and larger mugs, and it includes Crystal Dry, which is generally the best drying system we've ever tested. A quick word on Bosch and drying, because this is where buyers get confused. Like most European-style dishwashers, Bosch does not use a traditional exposed heating element. It uses condensation drying. The final hot rinse heats the dishes, moisture condenses onto the cooler stainless steel walls, and then they drain away. That system's gentle and energy efficient, but traditional condensation drying struggles with plastics because plastics do not hold heat very well. This is where Crystal Dry matters. The 800 series uses zeolite, a naturally occurring mineral to help pull moisture off the tub and improve drying at the end of the cycle. We've tested it side by side with the 500 series, and plastics really do come out drier. One thing we would flag, a lot of review sites this year are recommending the step above this, the Bosch Benchmark series. Consumer Reports named it the #1 dishwasher of 2026. At $19.99, the Bosch Benchmark adds 3 meaningful things over the 800 series. It's quieter at 38 decibels, it has a touchscreen instead of touch buttons, and most importantly, it has a built-in water softener with a salt reservoir. That water softener is real, and if you're on hard water in New Jersey, it's worth thinking about. But here's the interesting part. Once you are shopping around that 2,000 plus range, you should also be looking at Miele, because Miele gives you a built-in water softener, a 20-year design life, and on the AutoDos models, automatic detergent dispensing. So at that price point, the question is not whether you should step up, it's which step up makes sense for your kitchen. We'll get into Miele in a minute. Bottom line, if you have soft water and just want a great dishwasher, the Bosch 800 is plenty. If hard water is the issue, look at either the Benchmark or the Miele G7000. And I would not pay the Benchmark upgrade just for 4 extra decibels of quiet. At these sound levels, both are quieter than a normal conversation in the kitchen. That said, if you're extremely sensitive to background noise and your kitchen opens into the family room where people are watching TV, quieter can matter. The Benchmark's 38 decibels can be the difference between knowing the dishwasher is running and genuinely forgetting it's there. For that customer, the upcharge makes sense. If you want a dishwasher that performs at the top of the category without paying diminishing returns, this is our top pick.
Next up is our best value pick, the Bosch SHX65DM5N from the 500 series, the bar handle stainless steel model.
To be clear, this is not a cheap dishwasher. At $12.99, it's still a serious purchase. What we mean is this is the lowest Bosch tier we generally recommend for people who want the things this video is really about: build quality, noise level, and long-term reliability. Bosch's 100 and 300 series exist, and there's plenty of entry-level machines under $1,000, but once you drop below the 500 series, you start giving up features that customers notice every day. The 500 series gives you a fully stainless steel tub, a standard third rack with foldable tines for silverware and small items, and 44 decibel operation. That's quiet enough that most people forget it's even running. What you do not get versus the 800 series is crystal dry. Instead, the 500 series uses Bosch's Auto Air feature, which automatically pops the door open at the end of the cycle to let moisture escape. On stainless, glass, and ceramic dishes, that works well. On plastics, you may still find a few water droplets. So, who is this for? If you're mostly washing dinner plates, glasses, pots, and pans, the 500 series is excellent. If you pack lunch containers every day and really want bone-dry plastics, jump to the 800. Otherwise, this saves you about $200 and you're not giving up much. If you want a dishwasher that delivers quiet operation, solid build quality, and Bosch reliability without the premium price tag, this is it.
Now for the fun pick. Our favorite splurge-worthy dishwasher in 2026
is the Miele G7186 SCVI AutoDos from the G7000 series. If you've watched any of our previous Miele videos, you know we love this brand. Miele engineers and manufactures the major components in-house, including pumps, motors, and electronic controls at their factories in Germany. They design their dishwashers for a 20-year service life, which is roughly double the industry standard. Independent service data from our friends at Yale Appliance, who track tens of thousands of service calls a year, puts Miele's recent dishwasher service rate at around 5.6% versus 7.8% for Bosch. Both are strong numbers, but over a decade that gap can add up. This particular model gives you 42 decibel operation with a 39 decibel extra quiet program, a fully integrated panel-ready design, a stainless interior, and Miele's cutlery tray, the third rack layout they invented and that most other brands now copy. And the racking is a big part of why people love Miele once they live with it. Miele was one of the first brands to really treat dishwasher organization as part of the performance story, not just an afterthought. You get dedicated places for forks and knives, stemware support for wine glasses, and configurable zones that let you adjust the interior around the way you load dishes. Two features really set this dishwasher apart, and most reviews do not explain either one well. First, AutoDos. Miele's power disc holds about 20 cycles worth of detergent and dispenses the right amount for each load based on soil level and cycle selection. And you're not locked into it. If you want to use your own detergent or pods, you still can. A lot of people look at AutoDos and say, cool feature, but the power discs cost more than a pack of tabs. What they miss is that tabs and pods are calibrated for worst case loads, heavy soil and hard water. If you're running normally soiled dishes with soft water and a full detergent tab, you may be putting more detergent than you actually need. That residue is part of what can cause etching on glassware over time, and extra soap can also gum up the dishwasher's internals over the long run, contributing to an earlier death. AutoDos gives the machine more control over dosing, which is one reason Miele is so good for people who care about stemware and long-term performance. Second, and this is where Miele really separates from almost everyone else, every G7000 has a real built-in water softener with a salt reservoir. If you're on hard water, which includes a lot of New Jersey, this is one of the biggest long-term factors in dishwasher ownership. Hard water minerals can cloud glass, build up inside the machine, crust around the wash arms, and shorten the life of key components. I have a Miele in my own kitchen, and it's been everything I wanted from a dishwasher. In the current lineup, the G7186 AutoDos is where I would start if you specifically want the power disc system, and it's where many of our showroom buyers land. If you want a clear upgrade path from there, the next step is the G7766 SCVI AutoDos at $29.99. This is an $800 jump from the G7186, so this is for buyers who specifically want what it adds. The big upgrades are 39 decibel operation, brilliant light interior LED lighting, Miele's Maxi Comfort baskets, and small details like straw clean. And if money is no object, the flagship is the G7986 SCVI AutoDos with knock to open at $40.99. It runs at 39 decibels and adds Miele's highest end convenience package, including knock to open and M-Touch controls. That's a real luxury territory, but for the buyer who wants the absolute best, this is it. If you have the budget, you really can't go wrong with this Miele lineup. For most people who want AutoDos though, the G7186 is the sweet spot.
Have a question about a specific Miele model or want help picking the right trim level for your kitchen? Drop it in the comments. We read every one and we'll help you narrow it down. Our pick for best luxury dishwasher, especially if you're already building a high-end kitchen, is the Cove DW2451.
Cove is probably the brand most people watching have not heard of, and there's a reason for that. A lot of online review sites make money when you click their links and buy certain products, and Cove does not really play that game, so it doesn't show up everywhere online. But Cove is owned by Sub-Zero and Wolf, same Madison, Wisconsin company, same parts depth, same dealer network. They started building dishwashers in 2019 because Sub-Zero and Wolf customers kept asking a very reasonable question: who makes the dishwasher that goes with the suite? Honest history, Cove's first couple of years had some growing pains, including a recall and manufacturing delays. Sub-Zero and Wolf took it seriously and addressed it. Current production has been rock solid in our experience. One important thing to know before you order: Cove sells this dishwasher in 2 configurations, one with a built-in water softener, one without. Make sure you specify which one you want, especially if you're in a hard water area like most of our New Jersey customers. In side-by-side testing, the DW2451 cleans every bit as well as a Miele. It's also the dishwasher we use in our showrooms for coffee glasses and employee dishes, so we see it handle real daily messes, not just test loads. It runs at 41 decibels, has a fully stainless interior, and uses a power wash system with 3 spray arms and 45 spray jets. Where Cove really separates from the competition is racking. It's the most adjustable racking we've seen on any dishwasher. The tines move, the cup holders pivot, the middle rack height adjusts easily. Once you dial in your dinner plates, bowls, and stemware, it feels custom to your kitchen. The build feels like a tank. Heavy door, smooth glide racks on full ball bearings, and interior LED lighting that make loading at night genuinely easier. Cove also projects an indicator light on the floor so you can tell when a cycle's running, which is a small detail that we really appreciate. If you're already buying a Sub-Zero refrigerator or a Wolf range, this is the natural companion. American-made luxury with one of the strongest warranties in the premium category. And we've been quietly selling more of these every year, and most customers tell us they wish they had heard of Cove sooner.
Next up is our pick for the dishwasher that doesn't fight your kitchen design, the Café CDT 888 P4 VW2.
Café is GE's design-forward line, and what makes this model special is the customizable hardware. This model ships in matte white with bronze handles, and you can swap the hardware into several other finishes, including brass, black, copper, stainless, or flat black. That matters if your kitchen's built around matte white cabinets, brass poles, mixed metals, or a very specific design language. The performance is generally strong for the design-forward category. It runs at 39 decibels, has a stainless interior, hidden top controls, and interior LED lighting. It also has a wash zones option that lets you run just the upper or lower rack for a true half load. The upper rack is Café's custom-fit top rack with ultra wash, with dedicated jets for stuck-on food on silverware, cooking utensils, and ramekins. You also get a custom fit basket with dedicated wash jets for silverware, stemware, and reusable straws, plus a custom fit lid caddy for cup lids and blender blades. One thing I don't love is the third rack design. Bosch, Miele, and Cove all give more of a true cutlery tray with dedicated spots for forks, knives, and serving pieces. Café gives you more flexibility to make the space your own, which some people will like, but I think it lacks the same level of organization. Because of that, you may still find yourself relying on the cutlery caddy in the main basket, and that takes up valuable lower rack space that a Bosch, Miele, or Cove gives you back. On drying, Café uses dual convection ultra dry with hidden heat, which pairs heated drying with fan-assisted airflow. That's a different approach from Bosch's condensation drying, and it does a noticeably better job on plastics than the Bosch 500 series. We also want to be honest about reliability. Café's long-term track record is not as strong as Bosch or Miele, and control boards tend to have a higher service rate. Plan on a 10-year life from this dishwasher, not 20. But if every finish in the kitchen matters, and you don't want to go fully panel ready, this model's the one that lets you tune the exterior look. Pick this one if the dishwasher has to match the room, not just clean the dishes.
Our pick for the best mainstream American-built dishwasher is the KitchenAid KDTS 624 SPS.
KitchenAid is a Whirlpool brand, and these dishwashers come off the same Findlay, Ohio line that builds Whirlpool and Jenn-Air models. So when a review site frames KitchenAid as completely separate premium American engineering, understand what you're really buying. The Whirlpool platform, upgraded with better racks, a third rack, a stainless tub, a heavier door, and a more premium finish. This model runs at 44 decibels and includes KitchenAid's 360-degree Max Jets third rack, a deep angled rack with rotating wash jets that can fit 6-inch glasses, mugs, and bowls. It also has KitchenAid's 7.25 cubic foot max tub, which they claim is the largest usable volume in the category. You feel that extra room when you're loading a sheet pan or a big stock pot. The major upgrade here is the advanced Pro Dry system. It combines a fan with a heating element to finish drying at the end of the cycle. In real life, that does mean it dries plastics better than the Bosch 500 series, which is a real win at this price point. Cleaning performance is roughly in the Bosch 500 neighborhood, drying is stronger on plastics, and the price is similar. The reason to pick this over the Bosch is if you prefer the heavier American feel, heavier door, heavier racks, made in Ohio, and a service network that many local technicians know well. In some markets, that matters. If you want to step up one tier from here, the KitchenAid KDTM 704 KPS adds an LED interior light and a second filter for cleaner rinse water at around $1,400. Worth a look if you can stretch the budget. If you want a domestic workhorse with a familiar service network, this dishwasher is the right pick.
Finally, the most underrated dishwasher on the market, the Fisher Paykel DD24 DCTX9N Double Dish Drawer. We have featured this model in previous best of videos, and we're putting it on the 2026 list again because almost no other reviewer recommends it, and they really should.
This is two independent dishwasher drawers stacked in a standard 24-inch cabinet opening. From the outside, it installs like a standard dishwasher, but inside the machine, each drawer has its own pump, controls, spray system, and dishwasher detergent. Each one runs independently. Here is who actually buy these and loves them. Empty nesters. If there are one or two people in the house, you can run a smaller drawer every night instead of waiting several days to fill up a dishwasher. Entertainers. We have customers who fill the top drawer with cocktail glasses while guests are arriving, run it, and have those glasses ready again by the time dinner ends. 2 staggered loads can be more useful than 1 big load when you entertain regularly. People with mobility issues. You're not bending all the way down to load the bottom of a tall tub. You pull out a drawer at a more comfortable height. And Fisher Paykel also sells single dish drawer models, which opens up some interesting design options. If you want to add a dishwasher near a coffee station, wet bar, or a drink bar in your home, you can install a single drawer there instead of adding a full-size dishwasher. One spec to know. This model does have a plastic tub. In a traditional tall tub dishwasher, that would bother me more, but because the tub plays a bigger role in sound insulation and drying. In a Fisher Paykel dish drawer, the drawers are smaller, the cycles are different, and you're not dealing with one large open cavity, so the plastic tub is not as big of a compromise as it would be in a standard dishwasher. That said, if you want the dish drawer concept with a more premium build, a stainless steel interior, more wash cycles, and Fisher Paykel's quiet wash modifier, the step-up model is the DD24DTX6PX1. Honest downside, service is more complicated. You have 2 pumps, 2 motors, and 2 sets of seals. Over 15 years of use, plan on at least 1 drawer rebuild. But if your household profile fits, there's nothing else on the market that does what this does.
So those are the top 7 dishwashers of 2026. The big takeaway? Don't buy the dishwasher with the longest spec sheet. Buy the one that fits your dishes, your water, your kitchen, and the way you actually live. If you want to compare these in person, come visit our showrooms in Bedminster, Montclair, or Englewood, New Jersey.
We have every model we've talked about on display, plus the step-up and step-down versions around them, so you can save where it makes sense and upgrade where it actually matters. Pull the racks, hear the doors close, bring your own dinner plates and see what fits.
Not local? Subscribe for more buyer's guides and drop your questions in the comments. We read every one.